They say the most dangerous prisons don't have bars or guards. They exist inside your own head. Every day, millions of people are trapped, not by others, but by their own thoughts. It feels invisible, yet it controls every decision you make. Have you ever wondered why you stay stuck, even when you want to change? Why you hold yourself back, even when no one is stopping you? These aren't accidents. They're mental traps, silent patterns that disguise themselves as logic while secretly keeping you weak. And the scariest part? You don't even realize you're inside them until it's too late. Today, we're going to expose the thought patterns that quietly control your life. Think about the last time you had a big decision to make. Maybe it was about your career, your relationships, or even your health. You probably felt your mind pulling you in 10 different directions. One part of you said, go for it. Another whispered, what if you fail? And then, out of nowhere, a flood of doubts appeared. Suddenly, you weren't fighting the problem anymore. You were fighting your own thoughts. That's how powerful mental traps are. They don't just stop you from taking action. They convince you that staying stuck is the safer choice. They tell you it's rational to wait. They tell you now isn't the right time. And slowly you start to believe those voices. But here's the truth. Those voices are not facts. They are patterns wired into your mind over years of fear, comparison, and regret. Patterns that disguise themselves as protection, when in reality, they are chains. Chains you never asked for, but chains you carry every single day. Let's start with the first trap, overthinking. On the surface, it feels harmless. You tell yourself you're just being careful, weighing all your options, but inside, you're building walls instead of paths. Think about how many opportunities you've lost simply because you were too busy analyzing every detail. Overthinking is a silent thief. It steals time, energy, and confidence. Psychologists call it analysis paralysis, where fear of making the wrong move stops you from making any move at all. And the cruel twist? By avoiding mistakes, you end up creating the biggest one, doing nothing. Now, let's talk about the sunk cost fallacy. This trap whispers, you've invested too much to quit now. Maybe it's a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, or a failing project. Instead of walking away, you keep pouring in more time and energy, hoping it will pay off. But all it really does is drag you deeper into regret. Your brain hates to admit loss, so it tricks you into staying. The result? You waste years trying to fix something that was never meant to work in the first place. Next comes perfectionism. At first, it sounds positive. Who would want to do things perfectly? But perfection is an illusion, a moving target you can never reach. Every time you get close, the bar shifts higher. So you end up stuck, polishing details no one notices, instead of finishing and moving forward. Perfectionism disguises itself as high standards, but in reality, it's just fear wearing a mask. Fear of being judged, fear of failing. And ironically, that fear stops you from ever producing your best work. Another trap that keeps people weak is the victim mentality. It convinces you that life happens to you, not for you. Every setback becomes proof that the world is against you. Every challenge becomes another reason to quit. The danger here is simple. When you see yourself as powerless, you stop looking for solutions. Your brain adapts to this mindset and starts filtering out opportunities because it assumes they don't belong to you. Slowly, you become trapped in your own story of defeat. And the more you repeat it, the more it feels like truth. Then we have a comparison trap. Social media makes this one almost impossible to avoid. You scroll through endless highlights of other people's lives. They look happier, richer, more successful. And suddenly, your own progress feels worthless. But here's what you forget. Social media is a stage, not reality. People only show the polished parts, never the failures or tears. Yet your brain falls to the illusion, convincing you that you're always behind. And this constant comparison robs you of joy, gratitude, and focus. Finally, there's a fear of judgment. This trap has stopped more dreams than failure ever did. You want to try something new, but then you imagine the whispers, the laughter, the criticism. Your brain goes into survival mode, treating judgment like a life or death threat. But the irony? Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to even care about you. Still, this fear holds you hostage. It convinces you to stay small, stay silent, and stay invisible. And in doing so, you betray your own potential. These are the traps that control millions of lives every day. They don't scream. They don't announce themselves. They whisper. They disguise themselves as logic, caution, or even wisdom. But in reality, they are nothing more than chains. Chains that bind your growth, your confidence, and your future. And unless you see them for what they really are, you'll keep carrying them forever. The first step to breaking free is awareness. You cannot fight an enemy you refuse to see. Once you recognize these mental traps, they lose a part of their power. Awareness shines a light on the patterns that once controlled you in the dark. But awareness alone isn't enough. You need action. When you catch yourself overthinking, set a timer. Give yourself 5 minutes to decide, then commit. This small boundary trains your brain to act instead of spiral. For the sunk cost trap, remind yourself the past is gone. No amount of time, money, or energy will ever bring it back. The only question that matters is, does this serve me right now? If the answer is no, walk away. It's not quitting, it's choosing freedom. To escape perfectionism, focus on progress, not polish. Done is always better than perfect. Perfection is endless, progress is real. Celebrate small completions, because every step forward beats endless hesitation. When facing victim mentality, shift your question. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, what now? This simple change rewires your brain from helplessness to possibility. Life doesn't owe you fairness, but you owe yourself resilience. And resilience grows every time you choose responsibility over blame. To beat the comparison trap, change the lens, unfollow accounts that drain you, follow those that educate, inspire, or challenge you to grow. And remember, your journey is not a race, it's a story. No one else can live your chapters but you. And for the fear of judgment, understand this. People will always have opinions. Some will cheer, some will criticize, but neither defines you. The truth is, most people are too wrapped up in their own insecurities to even notice yours. So stop living for an audience that isn't even watching. The common thread in all these defenses is choice. You may not choose your thoughts, but you can choose how long you entertain them. You may not erase every trap instantly, but you can loosen its grip with every small act of courage. Each time you take back control, you rewire your brain. And slowly, the chains that once held you begin to break. At the end of the day, your greatest battle isn't with the world outside. It's with the silent traps inside your own mind. Overthinking, fear, comparison. These are not facts. They are stories your brain tells you to keep you comfortable. But comfort never creates growth. Every chain you carry is a choice, and every choice can be changed. You don't have to keep repeating the same patterns that keep you small. You can choose awareness. You can choose action. You can choose freedom. Because the truth is simple. Your thoughts create your reality. If you don't control them, they will control you. So which will it be? Another day of silence, or the first step towards strength? If this video opened your eyes, don't stop here. There are more hidden traps waiting to be exposed. Subscribe now so you never fight these battles alone. Your freedom begins the moment you decide to take it. And that decision starts right now.